fallen off track and you need a little assistance to get going, I'm here to encourage you and say you've got this. Hi, I'm Meg. Welcome to plantfitmeg. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, I hope you'll take a look around at some other videos. I make videos about weight loss, healthy plant-based recipes, and living a healthy lifestyle. For today's video, I wanted to go back to January 2021 and talk about New Year's resolutions. So New Year's resolutions aren't really a popular thing to talk about in March or in April. Usually New Year's resolutions are sort of talked about in January, maybe even in December, sort of in preparation for the new year. And then I don't hear too much about them again until the following year, the following December or January. And that's one reason why I'm not typically a huge fan of New Year's resolutions, because I think people sort of make a resolution, maybe don't think about it too much or put too much into it, and then it just sort of all crumbles and falls apart within a couple of weeks or a month. That's been my experience in the past. So not to say that New Year's resolutions are always bad, because I think in certain instances they can be great and super motivating and really helpful, and sometimes people stick with them and feel great, and that's awesome. So I just wanted to let you guys know how I'm doing after sort of making some commitments for my year, and sort of reassess, reevaluate, and just share with you guys. And also I'd love to hear what is going on with your New Year's resolutions. If you made resolutions at the beginning of the year, have you kept them? Were they easy? Were they doable? Are you building on them? Or was it something that you just said you would do and then 2 weeks later it all crumbled apart? I'd love to hear your experience. I find the whole thing really fascinating. It's kind of nerdy, but I find it really, really interesting. So I'd love to hear how things are going for you. So for me, I decided that instead of calling them New Year's resolutions, I called them my areas of focus for 2021. And so those 3 areas of focus were weight loss maintenance, finding better balance mentally and emotionally, and also getting stronger. So doing calisthenics, lifting weights, and getting stronger. And I'm doing okay. I wouldn't say I'm rocking it out and doing amazing, but I'm doing, all right. And so that's partially why I wanted to do this video, was to share that nobody's perfect, stuff happens, things get in the way, and instead of beating myself up about it and getting down on myself and going down a path of doing the complete opposite of what my areas of focus were, I'm gonna say, okay, we're 3 months into the year. That's cool. Spring is coming. That's awesome. That means that I'm gonna get outside and get running again, which I don't do during the winter because it's scary and dangerous and icy, and I will likely fall and hurt myself. And also my asthma flares up in the winter, so I can't run outside in the winter time, but spring is coming. So I'm going to commit. Tomorrow will be my first day back running outside, and I'm going to take it slow, take it easy, not go nuts with it. I will post about it on Instagram if you want to follow me there and take a look. There are still 9 months left in 2021. So even though it's been 3 months and maybe the excitement of a New Year's resolution has kind of worn off, and it might not be as, exciting as when the new year happens, and there's a lot of, excitement surrounding that, I think to refocus at this point in the year, say, okay, 3 months are done, still have 9 months left to make tons of progress and get where I want to go and put systems in place to be successful. It's really a great thing to do. So that's what I'm doing. I'm hoping you guys will come along on the journey. I'm calling it Accountable April. So I'm planning to post regularly on Instagram about what I'm doing, exercise-wise, and also posting more what I eat in a day content and things like that, just to get me thinking and more aware of what I'm doing and what my habits are and how I'm spending my time. I think when I originally made my areas of focus, they're so broad that I didn't have a specific plan in place or a specific schedule, and that was a bit of an error on my part. I could have been a bit, clearer with my intention. At the time, there was a lot going on with the pandemic and with lockdown and things like that. Not to make excuses, but life does happen and things get in the way. So now I'm refocusing and I'm gonna work towards my goals, and I'm encouraging you to do the same. So whether you have the same goals as me or whether it's weight loss or something else entirely, I encourage you to reassess and reevaluate your resolutions. So do you even remember what your resolutions were? I know in previous years, after the first month of a new year, I wouldn't even know what my resolution was when I started the new year. So look back, think back, what was your resolution? Was it something that was just way too lofty and too big of a goal that just wasn't reachable, that you got discouraged and kind of gave up and gave in because it was just like too much? Or was it something that wasn't really important to you? Maybe you made a resolution thinking that, it might be something that you were interested in or something that was important, but on further reflection, maybe not. Maybe you were planning on trying something new, tried that thing, and hated it. And it's okay to change your mind and switch direction and do something else. If you made a resolution that you do want to stick to and that is important to you and that you want success with, I would say if it is a big goal, break it down into smaller goals that are more achievable in the short term so that you can master one thing at a time. So, for example, if you're trying to lose weight, maybe you're drinking a lot of soda. Your one goal could be to either cut down or eliminate the soda consumption and switch to water. And that can be your one goal. And once you've mastered that and you feel like, yeah, I got this, I'm good to go, then you make your next goal and your next goal and your next goal and your next goal, and you just build until you're getting where you're going and you're making progress. Some people do better with larger goals and with things that are a bit more challenging right up front. But I would say for the majority of people, small goals is the way to go. Small wins add up over time, and you can get really far by taking, one thing at a time and building on it. As I mentioned previously, it's also okay to change your mind and make a new plan. If you made a New Year's resolution and now you're realizing that's not really a key priority or super important to me anymore, think about what is important to you and what goal you can put in place for yourself that is achievable and is something that is important to you and that will be exciting for you to get into. Give yourself credit for your successes. So I know it can be easy to get into not really giving yourself enough credit when you do succeed and when you do something well. And it's like this weird human nature where we get into something. I'll use myself as an example. For example, when I started running and I couldn't run at all and I was terrified, and I was in a running clinic with my best friend, and we both were kind of bumbling our way through and didn't know what we were doing, and we were learning, right? And when you're learning a new skill, you're gonna bumble a little bit, and that's okay. It takes time to figure things out and to get into a rhythm and a groove and a new habit or a new routine. And so I remember when I first started, I could never picture myself running a 5K. Like, that was just like unfathomable to me. I couldn't picture it. And that was my goal when I first started. but it was also scary and daunting and so we took it slow. We were in a clinic, so we were having, you know, a coach and having some training there, and that was really helpful. So we had small goals that we started with, and at first it was literally just walking, you know, for 1 minute, running for maybe 30 seconds, I think is where we started, and building from there and starting really small and really manageable, and then cheering each other on and having each other to be accountable to was also really helpful. If you have a fitness goal, it can be helpful to have, you know, a buddy. I know in the pandemic, it's a little trickier. If you don't live with someone who's interested in fitness, that can be a bit more challenging, but there's tons of support online. I'm here to help you guys out, and if you want to leave comments below letting me know what you're up to and what your goals are, I'd love to hear about that. With the running, we did run a 5K. Within a fairly short amount of time, we were able to train up and get ourselves to running our 5K goal, and that was super cool. However, once I ran that 5K, it was like, oh, the 5K is not really good enough or not really big enough, or oh, now I need to do the next 5K or a 10K or whatever. And I think it can be a double-edged sword. It can be good to have that mindset because you're continually growing and improving and challenging yourself and wanting to do more, and that's really cool, that's awesome. But at the same time, it can be a bit demotivating actually, because you feel like you're constantly chasing the next thing and the next thing and the next thing, rather than living in the moment and enjoying and giving yourself a pat on the back and giving yourself a round of applause and just enjoying that you got it, you made your way to your goal, you did it, and feeling good about it. The best way that I have found to be consistent with goals and with building habits is to build it into my schedule. So if I can plan it out and structure it in such a way that it is a part of my day-to-day or my week-to-week, it's a lot easier to just keep going with that momentum and keep going with that schedule, rather than, oh, my goal is to run more. And then it's just very wishy-washy and it's not, you know, clear cut. So I think if I say, okay, I'm gonna run 3 days a week, that's great. I'm gonna schedule it in, I'm going to work it around my other commitments and make it work so that I don't have excuses for why I can't do it. Not to say that things don't come up and sometimes it won't be 3 days a week, but if I can start with that and implement that and, you know, get going with that, then that's great. So I hope you'll join in on Accountable April. Really, the overarching theme of this video is just to go back and reflect on your New Year's resolutions and see if you can either continue the momentum that you've built. If you're already doing a great job, then keep going and keep growing and keep learning and get to your goals, get to where you want to go. And if you've kind of fallen off track and you need a little assistance to get going, I'm here to encourage you and say, you've got this. Make small goals, build on them, be consistent, persevere, you got this. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, subscribe below if you haven't already, and hit the little notification bell to be notified whenever I upload a new video. Watch out for my next video, which will be a batch cooking and meal prep style video, a really simple and really basic one because I don't individually portion every single meal out, but it'll be fun to show you guys what I am whipping up in the kitchen. And following that, there will be more what I eat in a day content, which you guys really seem to enjoy, and I'm having a lot of fun filming for you. So I hope you're having a great day, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye!